Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly video training. My name is Sian Burton. I am your private practice marketing and scaling expert, and I help women go from having lots of sacrifice and not achieving the success they would like to building a seven-figure practice working less than they did before. So today, it's very on topic what I want to speak to you about. And I know that I've done lots of video trainings on tactical things of finding team or when to find a practice manager. Today is different, and today is much more about sitting in that feminine energy of rest and thus allowing yourself to get into flow. Because the thing that I probably hear most frequently from women is that they really struggle to find time for themselves. We are cooks, cleaners, chauffeurs, party organisers. That's my current job, organising my nearly 8-year-old's birthday party. We organise holidays. We do all these things, and then we're trying to run businesses. And so when someone says to you, you need to take a break, you need to have some downtime, put your oxygen mask on first. Like, I hate it when people say that to you. You need to put your oxygen mask on before you can help anybody else. That's why they tell you that on the plane. Yeah, I know that, but how am I supposed to do that exactly when I am being pulled in a million different directions? I've got small children and everybody needs me. Like, that was where I found myself probably 3 years ago. I had 2 small children. They were then 5 and 1. And I was really struggling with having any time to myself and therefore losing my sense of identity outside of being a business owner. Like, having my business has been a huge part of that. But I'd forgotten who I was, what I enjoyed, what I loved. And it had a really big impact on the amount of joy I got out of life, right? So what I want to talk to you today is how I went from that, having no time for myself, to going away for 4 days to Cairns, which is a 3-hour flight from where I live, on my own, no children. And I sat by the pool and I read Michelle Obama's autobiography, which is like this thick, if you've seen it, how I went about doing that. And the steps that I took, because it wasn't just like, right, that's it, I'm going off and I'm going to go to Cairns for 4 days, because that would have been escaping, not taking self-care. There were some steps that I took, and I want to talk you through those quickly today so that you can start to put them in place yourself, and maybe in a year's time go away for 4 days on your own and be able to do that. So the first thing I want to talk about is the guilt that all of you will be thinking, oh my goodness, I couldn't do that. What would happen to my kids? What would happen to my husband? What would people say? That's just society, right? Keeping us stuck in this 1950s housewife mentality, and at the same time, really disempowering our partners. So if you're a mum, people will say things to you like, oh, is your husband babysitting the kids? No, we're a team. He is looking after our children. Oh, is it daddy daycare? No, it's not daddy daycare. It's his children. He is as much a part of their upbringing and looking after them as I am. It's put on us that it has to be all us, and we are the only people who can look after our children well, and that really doesn't serve us. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm going to Hawaii to be with my clients I leave next Saturday, and I'm seeing my business coach. I'm away for a week. Absolutely, I'm like, oh my goodness, what if the kids are sick? What if something happens? What if they get hurt and I'm not here? It's still there, right? I still feel that guilt, but I know, and I was thinking about this just last night, that I will come back so much happier and so much more fulfilled in myself for that time away, that it's really important. And they will be fine. They're always fine when I go away. So first things first, don't let that story be the thing that completely stops you engaging in this thought process, because our kids do need us to have time to ourselves. They do need us to fill our own cups, particularly if you have challenging children. Like, I have a neurodiverse daughter. That's really draining sometimes, and I need to fill up my cup to support her. So there is an element of putting your own oxygen mask on first, but I'm not going to use that analogy because it just gets rinsed and I hate it. So how do you do that? how do you go from being completely overwhelmed with no time for yourself to taking 4 days away and feeling okay about that? The first thing is to start with an hour. This is where I started. I blocked out 1 hour on a Saturday and I gave that time a job. So it's no good just saying, oh, well, I'll try and take an hour for myself on Saturday. Try is the worst word when you're doing something, because try means you're not committed, first up. But also, if that hour you don't know what you're going to do with it, it's really easy for it to get overlaid with something else. So I said, every Saturday between 12 and 1, I'm going to go and either go to a coffee shop and read a book. I'm going to take myself out for lunch and just have a quiet lunch where no one's stealing my food and no one's running out of the cafe while I'm trying to drink my coffee. I'm just going to start by doing that. And that was what I did. I had a conversation with my husband and I said, I really need this time. We had booked the girls in to go to swimming classes and he said, that's fine, I'll take them to swimming. They have time with him on his own. And I started going out for an hour on my own while they were at swimming. I did that for months, ladies, 2-3 months before I was like, okay, maybe I'll stay for a bit longer. Maybe I'll stay for 2 hours. Maybe I'll go a bit further than the local cafe. And it became 2 hours. I grew that time slowly so that now our Saturdays are my husband going out in the morning till 12. He comes back, takes the girls swimming, and I go out at that point, and I generally come back about 4. So it's gone from being an hour to half the afternoon. And now some of you are thinking, but that's the whole Saturday. We only get 2 days with our kids. But actually what your kids are getting is quality time with one of you and quality time with the other one of you. So they still get your time. You're just not together. And then we have Sunday as our day where we literally just spend our time as a family. And it works really well for us. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but for us, it works really well to fulfill our needs. My husband often goes for a ride or a climb because he's a climber, and to then get together on a Sunday with our needs and our cups full to spend time with our kids, which can sometimes be very challenging. So I need my Saturday to be able to show up for that. So slowly grow it over time. Ensure that your partner gets the same thing, because otherwise they might become resentful if they're not doing their own thing. Like my husband has always been very set on doing his own thing, and he's always gone away climbing and always gone away and done things. So it is in some senses easier, but this conversation is easier to have if you don't both do that, if you're both going to have the time. So if you say, I'd really like to take an hour out on a Saturday to do something for myself, I think it would be really great for you if you did the same. So let's put it in our diaries. Let's figure out who's going when. Let's figure out what we're going to do, and let's make a commitment to each other to do that. Because as a couple, I've noticed that we are happier and healthier together, and less resentful of each other, because we're getting time to do our own things. We're getting time to be ourselves. You know, sometimes I go out with a girlfriend for lunch. More often than not, I spend it on my own. And this is something it's almost a non-negotiable in my program, like that people do this too, because it's so important for us to look after ourselves and to have that time to recharge, unwind, refill, and do some things we love. And then you just build it over time. So I think it was probably 18 months later that I went to Cairns for the weekend, and I'd been away for a night with friends, and I think I might have been away for a weekend with friends. And so over time, everybody got used to it. I got used to it, and I stretched into it over time. The final thing I want to leave you on is that if this feels really, really hard, ask yourself if this is the way you want your kids to live if you have kids. I don't want my girls to feel like they can never take a moment for themselves because there's too many other things to do. And the way that they will feel okay with that is if I have modeled it to them throughout their childhood. So keep that in mind as well. Like you're setting an impression for your children of what life should look like and how you want them to live. So steps: identify the hour, give it a job, tell your partner if you need to, go do it consistently, grow it over time, and let me know how you go. I would love to see some of you sharing pictures in the group of the things that you're doing on this time that is your time, and really living into that feminine energy of rest and fun and flow and space and ease, because when you're more in that energy, everything will feel easier. So I'll leave you with that, ladies. I will see you guys next week. And any comments or questions, let me know in the chat. I would love to talk to you about this more.